How you doing, Brian King, UK Flooring TV? Today I'm joined by Billy Graham from the United States of America from Legacy Flooring. Billy, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Brian?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks. Not so bad.
Right
Whereabouts
on.
in the USA are you from, Billy?
I'm in Southern California, and we say Southern California because California is kind of like two different places. You have Northern California and Southern California. So Southern California, lower part. Um, that's where I'm at. That's where I've been my whole life.
Billy, you have a company called Legacy Flooring. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, Legacy Flooring. I guess start basically with the name. I came up with Legacy Flooring because I grew up in this trade. You know, with my father installing and fitting carpeting, and I just wanted a name that was going to basically bring out what I stood for when I got moving on my own. So I picked Legacy Flooring. Continuing the tradition, continuing on what my father had taught me. We I started basically, as far as uh, where I started like getting my work from, building my company. I didn't get handed any accounts. My dad didn't have a line of accounts that he dropped in my hand. I literally would just go around, drive around really nice neighborhoods in the area, and look for fences around properties, construction sites, stuff like that. And I built my company off of cold calls, calling construction companies, seeing if they needed a flooring contractor for any of their projects. And you get a lot of no's. We already got somebody, but I was able to build a couple of really good accounts with general contractors that build custom homes about 15 minutes away from where I live now. So that's been pretty good. I've been able to manage my way through the recession with these accounts, and we pretty much install like the main thing we install. You want to go over that?
Yeah, well, like what sort of flooring do you specialise in?
I specialize in hardwood flooring, the floating vinyl plank, the SPC, WPC planks. We don't get a whole lot of dryback installations in this area, but I've done that before. Anytime those come up, I'll do those. I still house and take care of carpet projects, but myself, I kind of have tapered off on my installations personally of those. I have crews that I run for carpeting installations, as well as like additional other hard surface projects, hardwood flooring, vinyl plank, and then I have a couple refinish crews for refinish projects. So, more than just what I'm out there. What I'm out there doing basically is the hardwood flooring and luxury vinyl plank, the floating plank.
See, over here, the dryback's a lot more popular than the click plank.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what's the most popular floor covering do you supply and fit?
Uh, I would say that it's kind of tight. I mean, like it started off that it was a lot of engineered hardwood flooring that we were putting in, and then when the floating planks came out, I think the first job I did was like a click together tile floor, and and I was kind of hesitant. I'm like, I don't know about this stuff. I never did it. And I mean, I do laminate flooring and stuff like that, so I know how all that works. And I kind of got pushed into like, it's just a bathroom, give it a shot. So I did it. And then it seemed like maybe a few years after that, it just started picking up like crazy. And everybody was doing the floating, SPC and WPC planks, which I started out is it started out uh, just kind of like a little like eighth-inch slab of a locking click system, so it didn't have all the core and all that like they have now. Um, but I would say that it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, I would say half and half between the floating plank and engineered hardwood is what we're doing all the time.
Billy, I see you have connections with Stir Rods UK. What's your relationship with Stir Rods?
My relationship with stair rods is, I think it's a pretty interesting little story. I was installing some stairs at a condo project that I have where I was doing 5 condos, and I'm also in a group called Flooring Installers of America, which John Rain, who's the owner of Stair Rods, is a part of that group as well. And so he reached out on one of my videos that I do. I should say short films. Sometimes they're a bit long, but he reached out on one of them and says, hey mate, why are you cutting off those nosings? And I was like thinking, this guy's messing with me, like he's trolling me, and not realizing that he just honestly didn't know. And I'm like, well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll respond kindly and say, hey, so I'm cutting him off because with the nosing systems that we have here, you have to have a box step. You can't have your contoured nose on there when you're fitting the nosing. And so then I realized at that point he just didn't know. So I'm like, so he asked a few more questions and I answered them. I had no idea who John Rain was. To me, it was just another guy in the group asking a question that, honestly didn't have the answer. So I answered him, and then we started chatting back in, it was like July 31st. And he started throwing some stuff like, hey, we're working on these nosings and wrap nosings and new line coming out, and I'd like to get you some to try out. And I'm like, cool. He's like, yeah. He's like, I see your videos and I love them, and I'm going to send you loads of stuff before I retire. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool guy, let's see if that happens. And I swear, we were chatting more and more and getting information about, what he is sending pictures of stuff that they're trying out with Scott. And then next thing you know, he's like, yeah, I sent you some stuff. And I'm like, cool. And then I get the package and it says Sterods UK Ltd. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, this from Sterods? And I had already previously seen a YouTube video with their bendy bull being fit. And I remember when I saw that, before I ever even talked with John Rain, I was like, that is probably the raddest thing I've ever seen in my life for fitting a step. And so I was already kind of familiar with Sterods. So then when I got that package, I was like, wait, this is from Sterods. I'm like, got all excited to open it up. And I opened it up, and I still just wasn't putting two and two together, that he was the owner of Sterods. And so then I opened up the package to look at it. I'm like, wow, this stuff's really cool. And so I started cutting up some little 10-inch pieces and peeling it and inserting it and just kind of checking out what it looks like. And just kind of keeping my mouth shut about it. I kind of wanted to hoard that little, I felt like it was like a secret. And so I kind of kept it to myself and didn't want to say anything to anybody. And I was just like, I think I did a post on Flooring Installers of America saying, got some really neat stuff that I'm going to be sharing soon and trying to get some interest in it. And I got a lot of people kind of following, wondering what the heck it is. And so they, at that point, I ended up talking with John Rain, and I'm like, I didn't know you worked for Sterods. And he's like, yeah, mate, I'm the owner. And I'm like, you're the owner? And then he's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. This even got cooler, And so from that point, we just started talking more and more, and he started kind of picking my brain about what's going on here in the United States. As you said, a lot of your stuff you guys are doing there is dry back.
Yeah.
So his knowledge on the floating plank was pretty limited, and what are our needs here in the United States in using the products that he's developing. And so I was talking to him quite often, letting him know certain things that could improve it, different profiles, stuff like that might be beneficial, the tread thicknesses, all that. And then I just really started, getting out there and going wow, this is really cool stuff. And then he ended up sending me more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. And my wife's like, yeah, your sugar daddy's sending you more stuff. And he's not my sugar daddy. He's like, this is the guy that has this product and it's great. And it's people are going to be blown away by this stuff here. And my initial thought in the whole deal was, I just wanted to get my hands on something that was unique, that we didn't have here, that I could offer and separate myself from the pack as an installer. That was really my main goal.
I've been friends with John for many years. He's a really good guy, and he's constantly working on bringing new products out all the time, just constantly.
Yeah.
And to be fair, most of the stuff he brings out are really good products.
He does. I mean, they're amazing. And when it comes to his products that I've used out of the Ali trims, I haven't really had any issues or things that I would change about them. Um, they're so good that it's just a matter of like, what else can you add to the line more than anything. I mean, like there's nothing wrong. Nothing needs to be adjusted with what you have. It's just, it starts getting in your brain like, okay, like what other profiles would be popular? So those are kind of things I've thrown out there to them.
What products from those have you been trying out?
I've tried out. I think I've tried out pretty much all of them. I mean, I've tried out the tram line, the Ollie tram line and profile. I've done that one quite a bit. I use that mainly. I use that along like exterior slider doors or thresholds with a flat straight edge, um, or like bathtubs along bathtubs to allow for expansion. I noticed that was kind of the first thing that popped into my head was, there's not good expansion for bathtubs and shower curbs. And I see a lot of guys posting stuff, and they're getting it really tight, and then they're doing a caulking bead, or they're using like a flexible rubberized type base shoe or quarter round. And I was like, I just didn't like. Obviously, the flush is nice, but it was my goal to have something that was nice, that was following the guidelines of the installation instructions, which want you to leave a perimeter expansion. So that one's been really, really huge for me. I've probably used the end profile in the Ollie line the most. The other one that I've used a lot is the reducer. It's really awesome because it's tailor made to fit the different drop downs, as opposed to the plastic trims that they have here from the manufacturers for the United States products of trims. Some companies will have a reducer, and it basically is like the same setup as like they used to have with laminate. It's very bulky, very ugly, and you don't want to use it. They don't fix well to the concrete. The track systems that they use to click into are terrible. So guys would end up gluing them down, and then you have your glue, bulging out, and that's killing your expansion. So it kind of defeats the whole purpose, and it just looked like garbage. So for like the reducers, you don't have to use a reducer from the United States in their trim system that's bulky and ugly, or you don't have to use a T-molding and have such a hardcore tilt on it that it's a tripping hazard. And then the other ones, maybe there's a slim trim, and it's the same thing. It's fixing them to the ground to get them to stay without having to put 10 pounds of tape on it and weight it and then go back for your weight system. It's just made things so much quicker, so much better looking. I'd say that's probably my favorite trim is a reducer.
That was my next question, which is your favourite Sturrodge UK product.
Yeah, my favorite. I mean, the nosings are amazing in their own right. But as far as like a big issue being solved, and let's say like the nosings, they're fairly easy to work with as far as installing them. The other nosings, the plastic nosings, are fairly easy to install. But when you get to the transitions from a higher surface flooring, like a tile flooring, down to your floating plank, those transitions, they just were horrible to work with, and they were difficult to get set correctly. And this took a lot of modification to get them to work good. So I think my favorite is the reducer in the sense of it really, the ease of installation has improved unbelievably.
How easily accessible is Sturrodge UK products where you're from?
Right now, they're very easily accessible. Stairrods has a website up, stairrods.us. So basically, anybody from the United States that has interest in the product, that's interested in using it, they just go to stairrods.us and then just hit the menu, drop down to the Stairrods, the Ollie transitions, dealers only. They're getting some things set up right now for me as well, as far as being able to have the email set up to be able to email me for questions or sample boards, stuff like that. So that's all stuff that's kind of still in the works right now that's getting moving. But it's very, very, very easily accessible. A lot of times I'll kind of walk guys through, guys that are placing orders now. because I've been the one that's showing it, a lot of them come to me and say, hey, like, I'm interested in this. I like this. I'll tell them go to stairrods.us, go ahead and browse, check it out. And when you're interested in placing an order, hit me up and I'll help walk you through it. I walked them through it one time and then they got it and they're ordering on their own now.
Do you ever use any of their other products, like say the Easy Bind or the actual stir rods?
I have not. I've really only had one project in the years that I've been doing this where we've actually used the stair rods, and I think it's really just a location thing. Like where I'm at is just not maybe super popular. I know more on the East Coast, it's definitely a more popular thing with the actual stair rods for the carpet runners. So I haven't really had the opportunity to use any of the other stair rods products other than the Ali line.
Billy, how's the COVID-19 situation affected you over there? Have you been able to carry on working, or like here, a lot of people here have had to self-isolate and stay in? How's it been over there for you?
Here in California, where I'm at, they've actually deemed people doing construction work in residential areas, residential homes, as essential. So I've been able to continue working, but I'm also fortunate because I know even though we have that right here to do that, there still was a lot of homeowners. So like if you go to occupied home, a lot of the homeowners were kind of like, especially in the beginning, they didn't want anybody in their house. But I think the benefit to me is because, like I said before, the main accounts I have are general contractors that build custom new homes or full remodels. They're empty homes. So it really hasn't slowed down my progress as far as keeping work going. I've been able to continue to work, and I've been able to continue to work in a good environment in empty households.
A couple of weeks ago, we spoke to the legendary Roland Thompson from the CFI.
Yeah.
What's your views on organisations like that?
Well, initially on the West Coast, it's not really the CFI and all those certification things are not really big, I guess. It's not something that we focus on or look at so much because, say, like on the East Coast or in the Midwest of the United States, a lot of them, they don't really have like contractor's license through their states. So in order for them, like basically anybody can get up and be a flooring guy in the Midwest and in the East Coast. So what the CFI and all that does for them is it allows them to say, look, I'm certified. These are my credentials, basically letting the homeowners or whoever's hiring them know that they're certified and they know what they're doing. Here in California, like Arizona, some of the West Coast area, we basically run off of a contractor state license. So we have to, we have to have a specific amount of years in apprenticeship, have signed contractors, flooring contractors, people that we've done work with or for, to vouch for us, and then we have to do basically like a schooling or study the test, and then we basically test for it by going in and doing just a paper test off the computer. So in the sense, CFI is not so important here. I still initially I had kind of the thought process of like, CFI, like who cares, because it doesn't really do anything for me here. But after being a part of the Flooring Installers of America group, and I see the benefit of it because in the CFI they're doing hands-on training. They're not going off of, oh yeah, John, contractor, flooring guy, is saying that I've been apprentice for the last 5 years. They're going off of, you're here, you're doing the testing, you're doing the hands-on, and to me, I like that system better, but that's just not the system we have here. So, I mean, the organizations, I think, are great. If it was out here more towards California area, I probably would sign up and do it just to get hands-on on different things and have have a certification to add on to my license.
Right. I've noticed you on a few of the social media groups like Flooring Installers in America, that you keep mentioning.
Yep.
What are your views on social media groups?
Social media groups.
We have
God, I think they're
many.
just
There's lots here. In fact, there's too many. I've ended up coming off a lot of them because some are good, some are brilliant.
yeah,
Some you just get
yeah,
a lot of arguing and bickering.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely that here too. There's multiple groups now. Um, I kind of just I kind of tapered it down and just kind of picked the ones that I feel are valuable as far as opportunities to be able to help people. It kind of became like a little passion that I developed from social media. Before it was just about like me, and then it found an opportunity to be able to help new guys coming up in the trade, and then also learn things. That turned into meeting some really rad people, not only flooring installers, but people that are on the other side of the industry with products and working with different companies. So I mean that it's really opened up because of that specific page, Flooring Installers of America. It's really opened up uh, not only my eyes, but like so many different avenues to be associated and a part of the flooring industry.
Billy, how did you get into the flooring industry?
I got into the flooring industry because my father was a carpet installer. My whole life, he's been carpet installer, and so I kind of just grew up going out with him on jobs and doing whatever I could from probably 4 years old on. Um, so that's kind of I'm second generation installer. I'm fortunate that my teacher was my father, who was a very good installer. Um, and I think it really kind of instilled this sense of pride in the work that I do myself because my purpose and my goal growing up in the trade with my father early on wasn't to make money, and it's a darn good thing because I think he only paid me $65 a day for 10, 12-hour days. I mean, for me, it was about I wanted my dad to be proud of me and the quality that I did when I worked with him. Um, and that's really where I gained a lot of the part that my dad said you can't teach is to care. He said, I could teach you everything I know, but I can't teach you to care. And for me, the part where that stepped in was, I did it because I wanted his approval. So because he was my teacher, it probably brought out the best in me, even though it wasn't always easy working together.
Is your dad retired or is he still fitting?
He's uh he's he's not retired, but he's not out there doing big projects. I mean, right now he's been going through he's had cancer and he's been going through cancer treatments again as of late. So he's really tapered it off more to like little refits, repairs, restretches, small rooms, stuff like that. But I mean, he still gets out there. He's still got his old Robert Senior stretcher, and he still gets at it. And I mean, that guy can lay carpet. It's unbelievable how much he can lay.
So he just picks and chooses his jobs.
Yeah. I mean, he has like a little job now where he does like property maintenance for a large commercial retail like food type place where they have businesses and stuff. And he'll do like the maintenance there, and then he'll get off at like 11 o'clock, and then he'll go out and do some carpet work. So yeah, I mean he's not fully retired, but I don't think he ever will be. But yeah, he's definitely tapered it down though. I think a lot of it has to do with one, his age. He's 46, 47 years in the trade, and then dealing with this cancer garbage. So that's slowed down his productivity on the flooring side for sure.
Well, we wish him well.
Thank you.
What do you think about the industry at present, Billy?
The industry at present, well, I mean, as far as the side from an installer standpoint, uh, it's been difficult. I mean, the industry it just seems to have just gone down and down and down for many years. Um, Here in California, we're very close to the Mexican border, and unfortunately, there's a lot of illegals coming in and snatching up work and doing things for less. So that's always kind of a challenge. Um, I think that it's really a long road to get it kind of up to where it used to be as a very uh, I guess sought after trade to be a part of and in as an installer. I keep remembering back with my dad. He said he would see the guy down the street from where he lived, and he always had nice cars, and this was nice, and that was nice. And he asked him what he did. He said he was a carpet installer. And then my dad saw his dad, working for McDonnell Douglas as a airplane mechanic, bringing home just a little bit of money. So, at that point, it was really good. It was really sought after trade to be a part of, and then it just seems like it had just declined and declined and declined over the years. But I think that as far as like the industry, I love it. I love being a part of flooring. That's why I've really worked towards what I said before, having a niche, having something that I could offer that the next person can't offer. Whether that's the quality of installation or a product that I get my hands on that they can't, or a product that I actually am talented enough to be able to fit or install that they can't.
Billy,
On that end of it, that's
Billy, if you could change anything within the industry, what would it be?
I would say that as far as the industry as a whole, and maybe it's coming around a little bit now, is not a lot of manufacturers here in the States. They don't seem to put in enough effort of listening to the installer as far as what could make the product better. Especially with these newer products like these SPCs and WPC floating planks. It's all pretty new, and it just blew up out of nowhere, and then they're constantly changing things, and now we got a core on our product. So I think that what could improve the industry is more of the manufacturers listening more to the installer's perspective, and being able to improve their products to be able to have better outcomes.
A lot of manufacturers look down on us installers, but it's us what make it look good. We make the product look good with the finish.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean they don't see the struggle when you're trying to put it together, and you have to beat the snot out of it to get it together, and things that can make it click together better, or little things. It's just little things, really. I mean, just little adjustments, And like I said, I think that some of them are starting to come around to that idea. There is a couple manufacturers of the SPC flooring that I've been talking to that actually are willing to listen to my thoughts and concerns and ideas. And I'm much more vocal about it now, too. So if they're putting out something like a nosing piece one of the manufacturers was putting out, and it was just garbage. It looked ugly. It was securing. It was terrible. It's just something where it's like somebody's going to break their neck falling down a staircase because it's not going to stick well. And so I brought it to their attention. I'm like, this is just nasty. I wasn't super nice about it. I was just like, this is just awful. If you want to know my opinion, it's awful. These are the issues with it. And a couple of those companies started going into researching and developing new nosing systems. Yeah. And I've shared these with them, and they want to see, like, next time you have an installation of the stair rods ollie wrap nosings, call us out. We'll check it out. But the big problem with the industry too is on that side is they're trying to cater to the masses. They're not trying to cater to the people who are trying to install or fit their products, with a high quality. So out of all these low laborers and low priced installers, they're not good enough to install a product that requires more skill. So the last thing they want to do is offer something that's better, because now that eliminates all these guys that, one, don't have licenses, that work for shops, working by the hour, because they feel like, oh, that's going to be too difficult for them to install. So they end up keeping these garbage products to appeal and to work for the masses, which the masses, you say, like, there's a very, very small percentage probably of people that we would call, like you guys call, master fitters or really good installers, and they're not trying to make things for the really good installers. They're just trying to appeal to the masses. What's going to be best for the masses? So it's a difficulty with the manufacturers on that side of the industry to be able to bring in products that will separate and not allow just any handyman to go out there and bang in a vinyl plank job. You know.
See, in my eyes, the manufacturers lose out there because if I get a product and I don't like fitting it or it doesn't go together well, I'll not use that product again. I'll use something else what I do enjoy to fit and goes
Exactly.
together well. So they, you know what I mean? They should listen to us because we make it look
Yep.
good and we finish the end product.
Yep. Yep. I mean, and for me, it's like I sell. I don't. I have a shop or two that I'll get jobs from here and there that they sell the product. But 98% of the projects I do year round, I'm selling the material and I'm installing the material. And you know, like I already say, like when they go to look for samples at the showroom, I'll tell them, you know, we're not going to even look at this particular manufacturer's line of flooring, or we're not going to go this way, or this way. And so, like, I just refuse to sell it. Um, and if somebody picks something out like that, I'll tell them I will not install that product.
Billy, what do you mostly like about the flooring industry?
I'd say mostly what I like about the flooring industry is, I guess it really just depends on the situation. For me, I'm in a situation to where I'm running my own business and I'm getting my own jobs. I'm not relying on a store to do all my work through the year. That would be difficult for me because, like, I grew up working with my father who was on his own, and that sense of freedom is something that's amazing. You know, like being able to take off a week and go on a vacation with my family. It allows me to do that because of the situation I'm in with the type of projects I get. The other thing, I mean, I just enjoy turning a house that's, you know, not very good looking or that's brand new and just finishing it off, and you know, something to be proud of when you're done. You look at it and you're like, that's just awesome. I mean, and that feeling has never gone away from me. Um, you get a job done and just standing back and you're like, that looks awesome. And being able to see like the joy that you give the person who owns that house, seeing their excitement, it's very fulfilling and very rewarding.
Billy, I'm a bit curious. Where did the name The Reverend come from?
Well, my name's Billy Graham. So, you know, the famous evangelist here in the United States, Billy Graham. No relation other than, you know, by Christ. So for my whole life, we would show up to jobs and introduce ourselves. Yeah, Billy Graham, and everybody would always say, any relation to the Reverend? And then we'd be like, nope, you know, not us, you know, and then so I've been getting that my whole life. Like every time I show up, I say, Billy Graham, you're kidding. And I'm like, no, my name's Billy Graham. Really? You're kidding me? Really? And I'm like, really? And they're like, you know, same thing. Any relation? No, only in Christ. And then it kind of bothered me at first because it's like, this is getting old. You know, it's like every time I show up to a job, I get the same thing every single time. Every time I call a potential client, same thing. And then randomly on Flooring Installers of America, I don't remember who it was, but somebody said something, you know, about like the Reverend. And at that point, I kind of was just like, you know what? I'm done fighting this beast because it's just bigger than me now. My whole life I've been fighting it and fighting it and fighting it.
Just go along with it.
And then I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. And so I just had fun with it, you know. So anytime I start doing the videos or my little short films or little product knowledge type videos that I do, you know, I just kind of threw it out there. It was funny. And, you know, Billy Graham, Legacy Flooring, the Reverend. You know, something, and then it just caught, and then everybody was like the Rev, you know, the Rev or the Reverend, and it's just become a fun little thing, you know, connects you to people more, and you know, I feel like I taking the name the Reverend is good. I feel like I'm deserving of it. I feel like I'm a honest, truthful guy that's very authentic, very real. The guy that you're seeing on this Skype podcast right here, right now. Is the same guy that you see. You could ask John Rain. We talk so much on the phone, back and forth through text, emails, and then we met. John Rain's the same guy that he is through that, and I'm the same guy. It's not a show. It's for fun, but I am who I am, and it seems people seem to like me somewhat. I don't get a whole lot of negative feedback on posts I do. If anybody needs help, sometimes I'll reach out to people and say, hey, if you ever need help on this, I'd be happy to help you. Just give me a call, text me, whatever. My phone's open to whoever. I think that's one of the things of building the industry and getting it better is improving the knowledge that's out there with the installers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just embraced it and I like it. And I had some shirts made up, and it was really just a joke on a comment, the Reverend, and then next thing you know, Rowland Thompson, like we talked about, he was the first one that says, I want one, and I'm like, I was just kidding, like I wasn't really, this was a joke. I wasn't planning on actually getting shirts and throwing them out there, and I'm like, I'd be happy to, but I don't really have the funds to be, start printing up a bunch of shirts, and I wasn't looking to go into business for shirt manufacturing. So, and he's like, I'll buy one, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get one made for you. And then after that, there's just quite a few people that hit up, I want one too, I'll buy one, I want to buy one, I want 4, I want this, I want that, I want a hoodie. And so I think I did one order, and I think it was maybe 40 or 50,
Wow.
between the shirts and the hoodies. And God, that was a nightmare, let me tell you. Making sure that I have everybody's size correct and the pricing, and it's just a whole different ballgame. And I'm like, I just don't want to do that again. But I still have people hitting me up. I want a Reverend shirt. I want a Reverend shirt. And I'm like, that was just one of those things where I just did it. And I'm like, maybe look out in the springtime for the next run of something. So, and then we had the COVID-19 hit, and things kind of tapered off on that. And that is, if it comes up again, I'll do it. But I'm not looking to make any money off of it. I just, whatever it costs me, that's what I charge just to get them sent out.
Finally, Billy, any future plans for Legacy Flooring or the Reverend?
Yeah, the Legacy Flooring, as far as the company is concerned, no matter what, I'm going to continue, taking in projects and installing projects. I enjoy it. I love it. I don't want to stop. We'll see where the stair rods thing goes as far as where I'm at personally with Legacy Flooring. But I don't see Legacy Flooring dropping off with anything else coming up, taking my time. My installs may slow down a little bit, and maybe I just kind of pick and choose the ones that I want to do myself, and have my other installers take on the other projects. I think it's important, though, that, for me, that I still get out there and I still have hands-on, not only for my own sanity and mental happiness being around it, because really my happy place is on the job site. There's no place that I would rather be than on a job site doing some work. So, I'll go out there. I want to keep my hands on products. I want to know, by having my hands on them, how they work, how they can be improved, how things can work better, have a better idea of the nosing and trims and what's needed for these floors that are coming out and the new runs that they're going to have. I think it's going to keep me in touch with the needs on the other end.
Well, Billy, thanks very much for speaking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll look forward to seeing more of your videos you put out.
Yeah. One more thing I forgot to mention, Brian. Yeah. Currently, they're in the process of being able to have Gunlock, which is a pretty awesome distribution company of flooring tools and stuff like that here in the United States, to be able to provide, the outlet for distributing. Now you can still go to stairrods.us for the purchases, but that should make the distribution of the product for the stair rods, ollie, trims, and nosings to be much more quickly available here in the States too.
And who's that, Billy?
Gunlock. So you got right here. See that? Can you see that hat right there?
Right.
Gunlock. So basically, George Luker and Eric Zern, they have part of the company at Gunlock where they have Edurus Tools by Gunlock. So they're innovative tool, company that manufactures. They're making innovative tools for the trade. Things that you haven't seen out there, needs of tools and stuff like that. And they've been pretty cool and really helped to be able to bring in the stair rods, ollie trims, and wrap nosings in front of Gunlock to be able to look at the distribution for the United States. And they'll be the only. They're looking to be the only outlet for distribution in the United States here. So they're working on getting the order processed.
Well, the link's below if anybody wants to check them out.
Yep.
Well, anyway, Billy, thanks very much for speaking to us. Enjoy
All right,
the rest.
man.
It's, what is it? It's 25 to 10 at night. What is it there?
We don't go by those hours. What time is it in? What you said? 20? You said?
21:36.
21:36. See, we hit 12 o'clock and then we go back to 1.
Oh, all right.
So
Then it's 9:36 p.m.
9:36. 1:36.
I'll tell you what time it is. Beer o'clock.
Yeah, beer o'clock. Yeah, for you. We're 8 hours apart. It's like 1:30 here, roughly.
But anyway, thanks for speaking to us, Bill. It's been an absolute pleasure. And
all right, Brian.
Look forward to watching more of your videos, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for your time.
See you later.
All right, bye.